The runner game genre has always sought to innovate its mechanics, either by adding parkour movements, as seen in the classic mobile vector, or more elaborate stories as in the playable adaptation of the movie Maze Runner, also for cell phones. In the non-stop running game analyzed here, we will be dealing with a spin-off that has an intense hardcore metal soundtrack, many unlockable powers and a very funny story. The evil villain Evil Pen accurately attacks the hero square, using his newest and most terrible invention, the Run-O-Matic 2000, making our protagonist never stop running. And it's up to us to help him defeat his archenemy being in such a dire condition. There will be many levels full of platforms, spikes and enemies in this extremely fast runner game. Produced by Headbang Games in collaboration with Ore Studios, Bad Run Turbo Edition is a spin-off of another series by the producers, called Bad Pad, where we find the beginning of a crazy story about creatures that are control buttons that have come to life and that engage in an insane battle for power. Both the original game and its spin-off seem to have been inspired by titles like Meat Boy or I Wanna Be the Guy, which are games that require the player to have high levels of control accuracy and a lot of patience, as there will be many tries and continues. But dying in Turbo Edition is not a problem. Because it is a casual game, it is necessary to go through the experience of trying and losing, in order to kill enemies, collect coins and improve levels of skills such as jumping height, character speed and even extra powers. The game has a single command, jump, which in the PC version can be executed by pressing the X button, space, or the left mouse button, a very interesting feature even. As this function and other character abilities are gradually unlocked, reaching the maximum at level 5, the player may feel a little more frustrated at the beginning of the game, with very slow matches and the scarcity of coins, which slow down the game. Campaign evolution. Although the game shows speed in the trailer and even in its later gameplay, it is in that first half hour that it can capture the attention of the new player, that he may end up turning away. It's not the most serious mistake, but it turns what should be a casual game, that is, to play quickly for time to pass, in a frustrating situation at first. The game takes shape as we play, with the evolution of the amount and value of coins that can appear, with weapons, turbos and even fights with bosses, making Bad Run a great runner, in general. Another point to question is the execution of the procedural generation of phases that despite serving as a great way to generate platforms with thorns and enemies, making the player's life difficult, but end up sinning in the procedural generation of items too. In some missions it is necessary to collect a minimum amount of items to pass the stage. As the items appear randomly, it may take a phase like this from 2 to 5 minutes, as some items are simply unreachable, either due to their height or because there are many enemies and spikes around. Considering the previous initial speed issue, this ends up making the experience quite frustrating. As the game is casual, there are no checkpoints. That is, it is necessary to restart a phase and its mission from scratch and hope that the randomness of the appearance of items is in your favor. These problems are certainly not all that the game presents, because, in addition to its performance, it is necessary to congratulate the pixelated richness of the graphics, with platforms well filled with earth, metal, thorns and enemies. The game has very nice graphics to look at and has great resolution in the PC version. All this complemented with a very exciting hardcore soundtrack. It's highly acidic and/or dirty guitar riffs, accompanied by dry riding drums and a very raucous epic battle feel. The game is very tasty, despite the slowness in starting to actually show up and deliver all the fun it promises. You have to be patient and see the blatant evolution from the beginning to the middle of the campaign. Bad Run is not a game that will take up hours of your PC gameplay history, and that's okay, it's a casual game after all. But it has a great repetition factor, which, despite the problems previously presented, manages to capture the most eager game for a new addiction or a new challenge in platinum a title, since here we have many achievements that are conquered without much difficulty. Strengths. Striking soundtrack. Great for providing the necessary ambiance. Lots of achievements to unlock, leaving the game with a really good taste. Negative points. Levels sometimes too long for a casual game. Bad procedural generation of items, hampering the speed of progress in the game. Rating. Graphics, 10. Fun, 7. Gameplay, 5. Sound, 8. Performance and optimization, 7. Final grade, 7.4. Review written by Olivia Marinho and published on the Revolution Arena website.